Okay, inside MetaTrader, you've got this tool. You go to indicators and go to Bill Williams. And they call it Fractals. And I just saw a guy have this on his chart, and you know, there's a rule system based on how to trade this fractal, and I think there's a combination of, you know, is it an uptrend or downtrend? But let's imagine we're in an uptrend. The rule system typically is you put your buy stop at the top of this fractal, and you get picked up in the trade, and ergo you make money. Or you have you tighten it up. In other words, as the market's coming back here, you just keep tightening this stop up. So now you get picked up on this fractal, and bang, you're long, and you put your stop there. I like to get in on these tops of these bars. So I have pending buy stop here, or I have a buy limit at the closing price retest, or at anywhere from the wick to the closing price, I've got orders. So that if they come back here, I can get in. The idea that you're going to get in on this breakout, and this is the daily chart, I just can't imagine. But I know that's because here, like if you have a trailing buy stop and you haven't made a higher high, but as soon as you do, boom, you're in. And then almost thinking about getting out there where these other people are getting in. So a lot of the, another thing is that just trading on the clock, if you were to change time frames here and go to the smaller time frame, you're gonna save yourself some money too. So you drop down to, say, the 1 hour. You still don't want to get in on these stops here. So Williams, you know, love him to death, but it's just totally wrong. Now they do show you where people's stops are, and so where you'd actually want to trade the inversion there. And is the market going down? So I guess it does give you the fact that your first low fractal, you know, okay, you're in a downtrend, but I think you knew that as soon as you closed. Now, if you look at closing price instead of what he's doing, so you're looking at this low here in price, and when it comes up, can't get much higher. Another thing, after the fractal, you'll typically see a fractal in closing fractal. So all his fractals are built on the wicks, and that's okay. But and you can say, oh, look, there's a double bottom, but internally here, there's a more interesting situation, and that is the triple bottom here that the fractals don't pick up, and it becomes a revisiting point here. So it's okay. Have it set. I make this fractal a little bit bigger here. I made it like yay big, 1 notch bigger. And I can't seem to, you know, you can't put what you want in there like a Mickey Mouse character. But yeah, that's kind of a, you know, that's a crude way to look at it. And so even after this spike, this is a 100 pip grid. Even after this 100, 200 pip spike here, only lasted an hour. But you know, the stock market was crashing, so everything had to. All the markets reacted, and a lot of markets made huge historical moves there, because it didn't so much matter. Another reason why I have the closing price is because I can draw my trend lines on that better. Now, if I drew trend lines on these fractals, it's going to be a little bit later to the game. It's more of an envelope. You know, the trend line drawing thing, you just wouldn't want to draw a trend line off of necessarily this wick. Whereas if you draw it off of, because of these kind of situations where the market actually, after somewhere is around 1 hour of complete smash. It actually holds this, it comes back here, pauses, and then it's as if it never happened. It becomes a turning point for this sell here. I guess you could say, well, when it broke here, I sold, you know, because I broke the trend line. So trend line breaks, and, you know, trend lines go way back. But the original trend line, you know, back in the day, you know, they didn't have, you know, at the end of the day, they had just the closing prices. And that's all you could plot. You couldn't plot the high and low. So if you were you know, for the scalpers, this was a big money maker. Had you had the right, had your orders down there, or you had a hotkey that you could just, you know, trade super fast in the market. You could drop down to the other time frame. Here's the daily, you know, euro dollar with fractals. Obviously, we're at the buy zone again. So all the way after that big rally, and you know, who couldn't see this coming? And is this not just the stupidest move in the world? And you know, this big move up, everybody's astonished. I don't know why people are astonished, but you know, after going down for how long here, we have a big wedge forming. Explodes, comes back, retests that. Gee, how often does that happen? Look at this big move. I mean, it took a while. It's actually a bigger move than this burst, but what was that burst about? And where did it turn around at? Well, there's a flag, there's a zigzag here, which the fractals, Williams fractals, really don't pick that up too much. But if you look at this zigzag, that's really tight, and these are really important because that's like a big pivot. And where does that thing turn around at? You know, and where was the next one? Now, people had sell limits up here, I'm sure, and hoping they got filled for the rip back. That's definitely what's going. And if you know, you don't see it here. I mean, you zoom out, you pick these up from way back when in the market. Here's another instance where fractal low, and Williams does not give you a fractal here. But look at the pullback in price. So price matters, the closing prices matter, and you know, this is a big support. 1, 2 touches, a failure to take it out. Look for the top inside the bottom. Now, you don't get it here on the wick. It's too steep of an entry, but when it comes back to here, now you've got another top bottom. So we could still get a little bit choppy before, but this would be the first leg on the, they got a faint trend line here. And of course, as they print more money, everybody prints money, but that doesn't really fundamentally to me. I could care less, just because I'm only trying to make 50 pips, and this is a 100 pip grid. So, you know, had you stayed in this trade for, and here's the top, inside top becomes the bottom. So yeah, I mean, obviously you're going to be looking to buy the euro on bounces here. But you're always looking to buy on bounces. It's just so silly to say that. I'm always looking to buy on bounces, and of course sell on rallies. Now, the sell world of this, this is gonna wipe that out. You know, the sell world in the euro here. This top going way back, right? That was the tag in there. Okay, so you have this top now, and you couldn't really sell unless it was high. And yeah, if it came back up there, you know, you have to change. You have to go to the. If you're looking to sell, you need to change your time frame to something where you can find a sell. Some guy said, "Don't look at your chart for a trade." And I thought, "Geez, really? I mean, that's all. It's how are you going to do it?" Okay, so you'd have to sell this last known low, but I don't think it's such a good idea at this point. So So here's the way that the market was behaving on. Here's your sell. Sells are here because this, and then you could take it to the wick. So the window from that wick to that close is your sell window, and you got sell limits up there, and that's about a 20 pip zone. So Monday or Sunday, I'm going to be buying down here another 100 pips deep, but I'll also buy on scalps as we approach that zone. And it doesn't really matter. And I'd also have looking for, if we take this out, if we take that out and they grab these guys and sell and rip it back, now you could trade that sell too. You could trade the scalp off of this as you come up. So there's going to be a little chatter here Sunday, but no problem for me to put a crop of scalps down here, buy limits, and then when I go to the smallest fractal here, I'd say maybe the 15-minute chart. I'm thinking like at this point, in fact, if the market was open, which is not, unfortunately, putting in buy stops are just really tight right here. And Williams didn't give you a fractal on this little baby bounce there, but yeah, right here. Plus the retest here, so your buy limits are sitting here. It's quite a bit of orders, but I just spread them out. So you have more orders down here, and so when if you get stopped out of this zone here, you don't want to be in the market till it plunges and then picks up this order bank. So anytime that you're going to try to trade a bounce, say you think this is going to be support because it was resistance, so you buy here and you get this awful non-response to it, plus maybe you had a buy limit on this internal top. So you did make money on that trade because had you set your targets low just to make that much, you did all right. On the other side of the coin, if you had sell stops, say you and you put your sell stops on the bars, not on the close necessarily. Not, this was the trend line that's supposed to hold, and when it breaks through, you could have had sell stops and say this fractal just before it went through on the Williams didn't mark it off, but the swing low on this guy. Your sell stops are there and your protection's up here and it goes through, and of course it's always a scalp move, that first burst, because I don't see the point, like you need to have 2 or 3 orders in there, because when that goes through, okay, you got to take something from that, because when it goes back up, or when it goes back up, you could sell more. So after it does that initial clearing and you're maybe still short on something, you can add to the position by putting sell limits at that double bottom again. Right, so you have this is your next entry point. Let's see if I can go to that. So in other words, if you had a buy stop on this, but you had a buy stop down here too, because and maybe this was the scalp, and then that's when you let the rest go, and your sell limits are sitting in here, and there's a scalp in there, there's a thing, but it's really pretty, you need like 3 orders maybe. One's got a 20 pip stop to make 40, one's got a 10 pip stop to make 20, and one's got a 5 pip stop to make 10. Right now you have a buy stop, say, sitting here, and you have a buy limit on this Williams fractal. And whatever happens here, your first target's probably going to be this for the scalp, but yeah, you're just constantly putting orders in the market, just little orders in the market. It doesn't matter. As long as if you have 10 orders available of different sizes, you're really going to kill make money, and it doesn't matter the market conditions, because if you have a 10 pip stop, well, then you set the condition ahead of time. If you have a 100 pip stop, then okay, I'm looking to make 200 pips. So if they smash the market down, imagine this is a 100 pip drop, and you're buying along the way, and maybe it only makes it to here, and you're like, uh-oh, that's not going to make it all the way to my insane target. And I suppose I'm always wondering when I see people do charts, this is the typical scenario, like people would say, like right now, somebody will say, buy limits here. I would say that, buy limits here to trade a bounce to here. But what do you do right now? Some people would say, well, sell limits here because I want to trade it to here. Absolutely not. Just put a buy stop here and put a buy limit here right now, because this is either going to go up or down. Now, you'd say, well, that's just a crappy trade and whatever. No, just really get good at just placing orders and saying, I know exactly what my stop is. In other words, if you had a buy stop sitting here all day long and finally they fill you, and yeah, you're an idiot to put it there because now they've trapped you and they pull it back. So at that point right there, you're already thinking, well, maybe I should have put it in down here, my buy low, sell high, buy low, sell high. Yeah, I just saw another video. The guy said, the markets are crazy and a lot of people are losing money. People that think they can make money really fast. Well, it's pretty much, not everybody's losing money, and not everybody's trading based on direction and trend. I don't know if it matters, Is the market going up or down? I'm not sure that matters, because even if it was going down, I could still, if I waited for my buy limits to fill, I could still make money. And if it is going down, do I get on the short train right now? So that's always the question. Do you get in other words, this is obviously an uptrend, but where do I get in? I don't want to get in right here. Like you told me it's going up. Okay, I see moving averages say we're going up, but I bought here because, or I even bought here because I'm like, woohoo, there we go. There's my signal. And then, wah, wah, wah. Now, if your stop was here and you bought here, you just lost that much money. Well, Sunday night, they're going to open this market, and I'm obviously going to have a buy stop here and a buy limit here, so I can, whatever happens, if the buy stop here is because I'm afraid I'm going to miss out on the trade, there's got to be a reason to put in there, or I would just buy at the market with a stop because I'm like, oh, don't want to miss that. Now, if I buy at the market with a stop and the market comes down, and do I buy another one with a stop? Do I scale into it as it's coming down? Or do I just say, you know what? If they're going to take it down there and stop me out, at this point, so when the market, so it's Sunday night right now, the market's going to open. I'm going to put in a buy, say a buy limit here with a stop, and it's just going to make, I get in here, and it's just going to cash out here. So it's a very small order, and the obvious place is to put a cluster of those surrounding this. Now, if they take that out, you could also have a sell. If you really think it's going to keep going down, you want to get in here. You don't want to get in here to go short. You want to get in now. So you could bracket this with a buy and sell and say, I don't care, whichever way it goes. And one of them's a scalp, and one of them's, and as long as your profit, as long as you have a tight stop, when they bracket and break out, either way, as long as your profits are bigger than your stops, then, make money on that. And as time's going on, every 15 minutes, there's going to be, or every hour, because you probably need, to get a zigzag, you need some time to go by. Just like here, it's very quiet. You figure that if you had a buy stop here, you could have scalped that, or you were going to play the constant needling of these things here. So you're always buying on limits with a tight stop. As they keep popping it in to these wicks, you've got your sell limits. So you're always trading, and then here's the flag, or the congestion zone. Here you're thinking, you know what, if this doesn't go up, it's going down. But you do have the ups, you have the up orders in there. So you're always bi-directional trading. You're always thinking, well, what could go the other way? And some people are going to wait till this goes out. Some people are going to wait till we're all the way back to take out this high and then be like, yep, I'm bullish again. I just don't see the point in that. I mean, it's not buy low, sell high at that point. And up here, of course, those sellers are going to come in to try to pull back, or just to look to trade that pullback. So it's constantly, but it's like, how long is this ride? And look at this 15-minute drama here. If you had buy stop stacking up here, so that's how I was trading this, buy stop stacking up, and some limits in front maybe that last 15 minutes. So as that's dropping every 15 minutes, you got a little cluster of buy limits in front, or you're just hand placing them. But of course here, you know, after this rally up into here, in another hour and a half, here we are again, bouncing. So all your buy limits are filling. If you're selling this fractal, you're getting your ass kicked. Your sells have to be up inside of your sell stops. So you either have a hotkey, or you just keep placing, or you just got sells. You got 3, and you keep placing them, and they keep disappearing if you've timed them. And here, buy limits at this retest. Here's a failure to take out. You got to be in here. You can't be in. You can't be placing a buy stop here and a buy stop. What kind of trading day is that? It's terrible. But yeah, the ATR is constantly fluctuating. Like, this is a big move up, big move down. But as long as you're keeping your stops 10, 8, 12, 14 pips, and you've just got literally all of these different increments. So you have 14 pips to make 28. So it's double your money. As long as you're always double or triple your money. Now, on some of these, say this is a 100 pip grid, so maybe this moved up like 13 pips and it went down 38 pips. And if you have a 13 stop and you have 3 times that, that's going to be a 39 take profit. So that's triple your money. And you just have them there, right? You have these sells here. You have a couple that are just going to risk 4 to make 8. So you're just constantly managing your entries. And people say, well, I get in a trade and I manage it. So they buy here and they're like, oh, I moved my stop. And yeah, on one ticket, good luck. I mean, you know, there's one ticket traders. I don't know how they do it. Really don't. Of course, I guess the argument there is some guy at some point in time, if you go to the weekly, so I suppose this is the argument for that psychology of getting into a trade and letting your profits run. And that's what it looks like. I drew a trend line. They broke it. I sold on the Williams fractal, and I've been in that trade for a year, and I made these many pips. There you go. That's how that works. And that's the argument for trading one ticket. But how does the argument, like, if 80% of the time the market's doing this crap, so you have this one big trade, and there's people that have made careers out of just one good move, and then it's just like this. And then it's like, whoa, what? Williams fractal entry, that was, ouch. I put my bias, but you told me to, you haven't been stopped out, you're long. Oof. And look how Williams fractal, okay, so what's better, Williams or closing prices? So here's your total bottom became a top in time. Anyways, that's my trading entry system. So here you would have had the sell stop stacking up on the inside, not on these fractals. Too late to the game. Here you got the, after the fractal, look for the pullback. After this fractal, you're looking for any kind of place to get in. So now after this fractal, we buy this pullback. And we'll be buying here, if we ever come back to that. But for the most part, I would say for me, it's always going to be the smaller time frames. And so just a quick blow through here. This would have been the Dow Swiss. You had buy limits sitting here. All right, so you pick that up on the bounce. The British pound, another classic where, you know, all these people are like, we're bullish the pound, and this thing just could just barely get the party started, and when it finally did, oh boy, golly, what had happened there, people? You know, what really happened with that? And why did people not have that on their signal? I didn't see anybody talking about this one. Bottom becomes a top, top becomes a top. Like, we all knew this British pound was the worst rally in the world. And, you know, it was in an uptrend. Higher highs. Remember that one? Higher highs. Higher lows, sting, bada bing. What is this nonsense? Who are these trend traders and why are people trend trading? And what is this fascination with forecasting, or no, just even directional trading? Well, it's going up, it's going down. Oh, really? Okay. Well, it's down now. How about buying it here? Yeah. Yeah. In fact, somebody probably has a buy limit here, right? Is this really brain surgery? Is this really, do you really need 40 indicators? Top became a bottom, became a bottom. Trendline break on close. Yeah. Here's your trend line. Double bottom. Failure. Here's your sell, and then whoa, sell again. Whoa, can't get. Whoa, bong. And then this guy with the video this morning. That's what the institutions use. They use moving averages, you know. Use a 100 period and a 20. In fact, the Barclays uses a 20 EMA. Yeah, on which time frame and what is it? Well, how are they trading it? And does it matter? Now, just for kicks here, let me throw up the EMA here as I hate more moving averages. Only because I've lost so much money thinking that, of course, nobody ever tells you how to trade them. Oh, I use it as a guide. Well, you know, I use my curb feelers as a guide on my car. I know I'm almost about ready to hit the curb. Let me just show you how stupid and ridiculous. Okay, here's the 20 EMA. Now this is what you know me supposed professional traders, chief analysts who can use this. Here, I'll make it white. Okay. Well, look at here. I got in at the 20 EMA. Look, I got, oof. Oof. You know, I can, oh. I went short right there. EMA said, oh. Oh boy. Oh, here's a buy. Here's a sell. Here's, oh. Oh, wait, here's a sell. Oh, there, oh. No, you're supposed to sell if it breaks the 20 EMA. Okay. If it breaks the 20 EMA, I'm supposed to buy then? Yeah. If it breaks the 20 EMA, you're supposed to buy. Okay, well then you said, I thought you said, okay, well, I forgot that then. Let's go back to the old system. Yeah, I mean, you can do that, but you're going to want to kill yourself, because what's better than that is the immovable trend line. The trend line that never moves. See, the problem with the moving averages, it's playing catch up all day long. That's the problem with it. So how are people making money with this moving average is that, just like a stop clock, it's right. And the thing is that if you have good money management, you are making money. It's so funny. I just traded a demo with it's a gold account, and I just had the script I wrote with a tight stop, and I could not blow that account up to save my life. And when I finally had no trades, I just kept pressing the button. So I have no trades on there, actually. Still had $1,000 left to start with 10 grand. I still had the script, and I was able to bring the count all the way back to 3 grand from 1,000 just because I had tight stops. And I trade this demo, and every time I would look at the gold chart, I thought, it looks like a buy. I just keep hitting the buy button like an idiot. And I mean, tight stops, totally, the risk-reward ratios, it's all that ever mattered. And it's fun to look at, you can sit here. Otherwise, somebody would just build a 20 EMA bot. Think about it, and they wouldn't, even if the idea that, I mean, this is always, I hear this one all the time. If I knew where the market was going, I'd be sitting on the beach in the Bahamas. Well, no, you wouldn't. You'd still be trading. You're a trader. I mean, there's so many things that people say that are so stupid. You get away with it. And the finance market, you couldn't get away with that necessarily in building a car, where you said, you know what, we don't have to put a head on this engine block. We can just run the cylinders. We'll just, it's okay this time. We don't do it. It's okay that it doesn't fit. But see, you can't get away with that in the real world. But it's funny in politics and all these other things. You can, in trading, you can get away with a lot of garbage because there's no, you can't go to jail for bad trading. You just lose money, or you just, so here's the 20 EMA, and look how beautifully it worked out here. And so maybe it's designed for Euro New Zealand. You still, this is an uptrend. You still have this pullback you could have traded here. And, well, what do you do? Like, if I change time frames, now this is the daily. If I go to the weekly, all of a sudden, maybe it's not so good. And it's just like a stop clock. So, the weekly, I would say, oh, look at this sell here. Yeah, but wow, and that's how people get lulled into some of these things. And they'd say, well, it only works on the daily. Well, no, I can tell you that, sure, they look good here, but what's better is the, okay, this is pointing up, so you would say, okay, well, I would go long. Of course, some people have 100, now mind you, they've got 100 period moving average on the weekly. Well, but how do you get a trade out of this thing? And when the market goes like this, certainly it's a tactical issue that you're going to want to buy low, sell high constantly, regardless of this moving average. It's just, I don't know. It always looks great when you look in hindsight. How would you use it right now? Oh, we're in an uptrend. So what? Just buy blindly? You're always going to be buying on things that you can afford. Like before that move, there was a top bottom right there. You could have been long this whole time and said, okay, but this, you only exposed yourself to a very narrow thing, where this could have just backed up at any moment. I guess that's the argument there. Okay, well, dollar CAD's obviously the big story. And I'm definitely selling this if it goes up here again, just like this is 100 pips. I'd buy it if it bounced off of this zone here. Okay, here's the apex of the triangle. You could come back, bounce off that. But there's a million trades in there, and it's kind of ridiculous to even, there's people that will do the weekly wrap up on these markets and show you all the stuff. Well, we got resistance, we're making higher highs. I mean, yeah, that's great, but how do I make money trading this crap? Damn it. And I would say start off on the euro just because it's cheapest spread-wise, but it's always going to come down to order placement. Because even if you think that this moving average is going down, look at all these constant. This is the euro Swiss. So this is a real limit trader's dream, a range trader's dream. You have these sell limits up here, and if the spread's tight enough, you keep getting filled there, and you keep on buying here. So it's buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. And this is another argument for trends. In other words, direction is meaningless. It's all about, and another thing, if your just orders are sitting at the 50-yard line, so here's a system I built. This is 25 pip, and this is the 50. So here you're all you're doing here is looking to make 25 pips, 25 to 50 pips here with this system. And you just have buy stops stacking up here. You can see your target. You can see how much money. You got a buy limit sitting at previous support. You get in, you got a 25, you got a, say a 10. Your worst stop is, say, 25 pip stop to make 50. So here's 50 pips. You can see it. Here's 25, and that's it. Now, when it gets quiet, I'm running the 10 pip stops, but I'm just putting them in. I'm just putting orders in. Bottom becomes the top, but let's put the orders in here, right? Buy stop. This is 25 pips. Can you get your brain around 25 pips? I can. And you just don't. That's why I had to come up with this grid, right? Because if I want to make 100 pips, I want to know what that looks like. That's 100 pips. And if I have a 25 pip stop on this, did I get stopped out to make 100 pips? Absolutely not. Could I have added to the position as it's going down? Hell yes. That's all that matters. And now you could have a sell stop here, and yeah, you made money, but how about the sell limits that you had trailing behind? For all the guys that have the trailing protections in a downtrend, which obviously once we took out this trend line without regard to any moving averages that are going to come late to the party here, if you drew a trend line here, at this point you could say, okay, we're short. But even up here, who's not selling at the 50-yard line? Just with a limit. 25-yard line. You just put orders literally here. I know this is just completely stupid, but I'm Sunday night. My buy limits are on the 25-yard line. And when they do the stop hunt to here, yeah, there's a scalp to get out here, but there's also maybe an order to get out of here, and then maybe there's one to ride back to here. But if it's really in a downtrend, you may not get that bounce. If you bought here at the 25-yard line, you got stopped out. If you bought here at the 50-yard line, you got stopped out. Here you made money. You made it back. Here we haven't really got to the 25-yard line, but you got buy stops here. But if you have a backup plan, which is what Williams is really about, is, in other words, you think it's going up. So you have buy stops here, you never got filled, but your sell stops got filled. So you're willing to go either, whichever way it goes. You don't have any bias. You have a sell stop maybe based on that. It's okay to have both directions. It's not good to go into the day thinking, yep, we're in an uptrend, I'm buying. Oh, maybe it's not, you know. And that's the flexibility. And I'm just picking all my stops. My worst stop is 20 pips. I should be able to place my orders in tight enough zones. Say there's 3 here, and each has a separate purpose. And some could have super tight stops. I mean, you can see here where you could have a 5-pip stop and never get stopped out, especially when the market quiets down. You break out your small scalper orders and just put them in there. Just get used to putting your buy limits on these previous tops. They come back. Yeah, maybe you got to buy stop here because you're afraid you're going to miss this move. But when the market doesn't fill that order, maybe it's going to fill the one that you put at fair value. And fair value being where the market is, you're just going to slice this range in half. Fair value is always in the middle. So when the market comes back to, if this is your 75 pip range, fair value would be right on the 50-yard line. So even the Fibonacci people at 50%, which is supposedly not Fibonacci, but here this bottom became a top, but you did just nicked you there. But yeah, there was people buying down here for sure. You know, I bought that thing. Yeah, scalp to there, sure. And looking for Sunday night, maybe there's going to be a plunge to here, but you know, on the way down there, first order is buy stops here Sunday night. Not too big, and a couple here, and just when we come, if we come plunging down to here, this is where I have the more bigger winners because I'm looking to make 35 pips. Because if we do come down here, the idea is that we get out here. If it's a scalp play. So the entries that you put on the 75-yard line were designed to make the 50 pip bounce or whatever this is, 35 pips. But you have to think like this. I can't imagine that you're going to say, well, I'm waiting for my stochastic. No, forget about it. Here's the 50-yard line. You know, got a trend line here maybe. You break that. We keep getting quieter. It keeps getting quieter. You know, it's in a downtrend. You know, once we did not find support here and keep going up, and we know there's stops stacking up here because people that did buy, in other words, the guy that bought here, where did he put his stop? Here. Okay, well, it didn't do too well, and so we want to put our sell stops here and our sell limits here. But we're taking either position. So really, we at this point in the game, we'll go either way, up or down. But the market will fill the orders and tell us. And here we made 25 pips out of the gate. If you stayed in it, you made 50, almost 100 pips. But this is 150 pips. That is 150 pips. It's hard to believe. And to make 10 or 5 or 8 pips or 15 pips shouldn't, with a 5 pip stop to make 15 pips, it's totally doable. And say you have an 8 pip stop to make 16, you just doubled your money. 8 to make whatever that next number would be, 24. But yeah, that kind of, that's to triple your money. In those kind of orders, you just have them here ready to drop. Now, here's my scalps. I'm risk 4 to make 12, 4 to make 8. These last for an hour. So coming into the session, and all these drops are sitting in this script trading thing. These guys are, okay, these guys are like this. I set these for, so this is 2 hours. Wonderful. It just over zooms. Yeah, 10 pips stop to make 30 pips for 4 hours. And so how much money's in your account determines how many of these orders you can place. Really, my computer's so how many levels of zoom out, and I can't pick it, you know. Of course, this is what you get when you buy cheap software. I mean, to double click on that, I just double clicked it. Now it's going to double click. It looks like I clipped it 40 million times here. Fucking A, man. What's with the zoom in on this thing? Can't it just zoom in one little notch? 4 to make 12. That's totally doable. And this is M1. Okay, that should say M15. You just can't see it because I'm zoomed. I mean, I had to think of it. But this is a whole trade plan in a nutshell. 4 hours. If you don't like the trade, if I don't like the order, I don't want to drag and move it. I just can drop this right near it, and it'll delete that. But yeah, that's my system. Here you can see the how this would run is you've got your orders in here. So you have the oh God, this poor computer. So this is very tight. This is maybe 8 pips here, just to make the 20. So those orders go in here like this. So Sunday night you're going to have the buy limits, say, down here for 4 hours, 8 hours, all day long. Some of these all day long are good trades, especially if you're going to risk 20 pips. Maybe that sits there all day. So you trade that ricochet. Here it's just a few pips, right? You can't always, these markets, the targets are not that great. Here's a nice run of 50 pips. Almost 75 pips off of this. So that was a complete retest. You could have set it and forget it on that, walked away. 25 pip stop. You would have never got stopped out. You could have had a 12. You could have had a 15 stop. Just try to keep these stops around 20. 20 pips should be completely acceptable on the euro all day long because euro, you know, sure it makes explosions, but, you know, 20 pips either way, breaks, you know, you don't care, whatever. You know, that's, I can psychologically get my brain around 25 pips, you know. So that's my whole trading system. Pretty much, you don't need any, you don't need anything fancy here. And we could plunge down to here, so I'd definitely be a buyer there, and you know, sell high, buy low, and the opposite's true.